how you doing today? Thanks for stopping by to check out my video. My name is Eric, and on this episode of Smo'King, I'm going to show you how to cook a delicious, boneless, center-cut pork loin. I got this beauty this morning. It's just over 8.5 pounds. It's going to be absolutely delicious. Now, one of the biggest things about cooking pork, especially a lean piece like this, a pork loin, is that you usually end up overcooking it. The USDA recommended for many years that you were supposed to bring it up to 160 degrees Fahrenheit in order to make sure it was fully cooked. Luckily, they downgraded that back in 2011 and said 145 degrees is sufficient for it to be fully cooked. I'm going to cook it exactly 1 degree below that threshold. I'm going to cook it at 144 degrees for probably 3 to 4 hours. And that long cook time is going to guarantee it's fully cooked perfectly, yet still maintain a lot of that juice that you lose when you cook it for a longer duration. It's going to be very basic here. Salt, pepper, garlic powder, chili powder. I'm making a little homemade rub. The other thing I'm going to do before I put it in a sous vide bath is I'm going to add a little smoke to it. Now, I don't want to put it in my regular smoker at a high temperature because then I, again, risk bringing it up to 145 degrees and overcooking it. So I'm going to be cold smoking it. I have a tube. I'm going to put some apple pellets in and I'm going to light it up, and I'm going to probably leave it out there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, just to absorb a nice load of smoke before we get it in a sous vide bath. Super easy, super simplistic. Let me show you how to do this step by step. Let's get cooking. So what I've done here is I cut this big loin in half. It's way too big to fit in my sous vide container. Makes it a little easier to manage as well. So let me show you this real basic rub. It consists of 4 tablespoons of regular old salt. We're going to do 1 tablespoon of ground pepper. And then 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. And 2 teaspoons of chili powder. And that's pretty much it. Just mix it in real good. We want to put a little bit of seasoning on here before we get it in the smoker so it can absorb some of that salt and those flavors. I'm going to leave a little bit, keep a little bit on the side, so when I put it in the sous vide bag, I can just add a little bit to add some flavor, and a little bit at the very end when I take it out of the sous vide bag and I finish it off on the grill. So what we do here is you just take regular old olive oil. You want to brush it on here to kind of get the meat moist. And then we're just going to give it a light coating of this rub. Now, you don't have to use this rub. Use whatever rub you like. If you got a favorite store-bought rub, by all means, use whatever you're familiar with and whatever you like. I've made this before and I really like this. So we're just going to do, like I said, a light coating. We don't want to go too crazy, just enough to have it kind of soak up some of these flavors. And that's it. I'm going to finish up getting these all seasoned, and I'll meet you outside when we get these on the smoker. See you in a bit. So this is the tube I have for cold smoking. There's a couple different ways. You can get a tube like this. They also have a tray that uses more like sawdust powder. But you buy these little, these are actually wood pellets in here. And we're just going to load this up like this. Now the only problem with this is it's kind of hard to light. So what I do, you want to put it down someplace that's okay with fire. So I'm using my grill here. And I got this propane torch I picked up at the local hardware store. You get these little bottles of propane. They're like $3-4. And then you invest in one of these nozzles, which I think is 10 to 15 bucks. I can't remember. I got it a few years ago. But this makes it really easy to light up. So I stick it in this little hole here. And you can see it's already starting to smoke a little bit. You need a little bit of air, so when you do pack this with the pellets, don't pack it so tight that you're not getting a little bit of air circulation. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this smolder here and catch fire on the one end, and then these pellets should burn all the way through, and I should have probably at least a 2 to 3 hour smoke time. on this. I'm going to stick this in the bottom of my cabinet style smoker. You can also use a grill. Stick it on one end of the grill and then stick the pork loin on the other end. And there you go. So, whoops. So I'm just going to let this catch. Let it sit here for a few minutes. And when it's good and lit and putting a good dose of smoke, I'll stick it in the smoker and I'll throw the pork loin in there. So I'll be back in a minute to show you how that goes. Alright, it's been around 10-12 minutes. You can see it's really got a good smoke now. This is perfect. So I'm just going to pick this up. Make sure you wear gloves because obviously there's some heat coming in here. But I'm just going to put this on the bottom of my smoker. And then on the top shelf, I'm going to put, or the mid shelf, I'll put the pork. And this will just absorb for probably an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't want to go too much longer than that because I risk, luckily it's a cool January day. You want to do this when it's cold outside because you don't want to risk keeping the food in the danger zone, longer than you need to. So that's it. I'll put it in the smoker and I'll show you how it looks like. All right, as you can see, I put the tube on the bottom of my smoker there just to show you guys. And it's putting out a good steady stream of smoke. Here are my two beautiful pork loins seasoned up. I'm just going to stick that on that shelf right there. Just like that. Close it up. And like I said, you want to check on it every half hour, make sure it's still smoking. If you need to relight it. But yeah, we don't want to go crazy here. We just want a nice thin dose of smoke. If we can, I'm going to try to go for 2 hours. And you should see a little bit of change in color of the pork as it starts absorbing the smoke. So that's it. I'm going to go inside, enjoy the rest of my morning coffee. I'll meet you guys back here in a couple hours when we're ready to take these out and get them in the sous vide bath. See you in a little bit. Well, here we are at the 2 hour mark. I flipped over these pork pieces around an hour ago. So I let it go 1 hour and then I flipped them. So let's take a look here. Whew, clear smoke. That's what we want, a nice smoke. There we are. Look how delicious they look. So inside I go. I'm going to put a little bit more seasoning. I'm going to put them in a sous vide, in a bag, sous vide bag, a sealer bag for my food saver, and we'll get these in. Meet you inside. All right, I wrapped these up, vacuum sealed them in bags. I put them in the fridge for around 3-4 hours just because I wasn't quite ready to throw them in yet. So now, the great thing about this is if you want to just keep one in the freezer for a few days, you certainly can do that, or you can throw the whole thing in the freezer and just allow an extra hour when you sous vide it. I got my sous vide machine going here. We're almost there. I'm going to do 144 degrees for 4 hours. Anywhere between 3 and 4 hours will be fine. Well, we're just about there. See it climbing? It'll beep in a second when it hits 144. I'm going to do both of these, and then since it's a lot of food, I'm not going to be able to eat it all at once. I'll probably just, once I take both of them out in 4 hours, one of them I'll finish on the grill and eat tonight for dinner, and the other one I'm just going to put in a container with ice to shock chill it and put it in the refrigerator and probably grill that one, heat it up in the sous vide for around a half hour, 45 minutes, get it back up to 144, and then finish it just like the other one. That's the great thing about sous vide. Or you can even throw it in the freezer. So let me get these in, and we'll go from there. Alright, so it just beeped, 144 degrees. Let me wait till it comes up again so I can start the timer. And like I said, I'm going to go 4 hours, but 3 hours will be fine too. You just want it to go at least 2 because these are pretty thick. So I'm going to be cooking both of these here. Ooh, these are quite big. I might have to remove a little bit of water for the second one. Now the other thing I want to tell you guys, I'm doing it, my mom's coming over tonight, I'm going to do it medium. There are several different temperatures you could do sous vide. That's not possible if you cook it to traditional methods. If you want to cook it rare, and it's going to come out pink, I mean pink, so, and it's going to be extremely juicy, but a lot of people are a little put off by that because they think it's not cooked enough, and I understand that. My mom included. That's why I'm going for 144. But if you go 130 degrees and you cook it at least 3-4 hours, you'll be fine. That's going to be rare. If you go 140 to 145, like I'm doing 144, it's going to be medium. It's going to be white now, but it's going to be very juicy. If you want it medium well, you go 150 degrees. And if you're just super scared of eating undercooked pork and you want to do well done, set it for 160. But bear in mind, that one's not going to be as juicy as the other temperature. So pick the temperature you like, experiment. That's the fun thing with sous vide. So there we go. We got 4 hours to go. I'll be back in a little bit, show you how this looks like. Alright guys, beer review time. This is a local out of Orange County where I live in Southern California. It's the Left Coast Brewing Company out of San Clemente, California. It's probably 20 minutes south of here. Really nice beach community. This is an Indian Pale Ale brewed with fruit, specifically California oranges that are grown locally here. 7.1% alcohol by volume. Always like to encourage or support the local brewing companies. I tried one other beer by this company. I think it's called Trestles Ipa. There's a surfing spot down there in San Clemente called the Trestles. It's famous if you're a surfer in Southern California. And they got a beer named after it. It was pretty good beer. So I saw this one. I kind of like the picture there with the structure on the pier. I'm not quite sure what pier that's supposed to be. There's quite a few piers in Southern California like that. Kind of reminded me of Huntington. But anyway, thanks again for watching my video, guys. I appreciate it. If you have any comments, suggestion, feel free to add them in the comments below. I'll try to answer all the emails. Thanks again for watching. Cheers. Okay, I can definitely smell the tropical orange, little bits of like tangerine, very, very fruity in the smell. Alright, let's try it. Alright, definitely taste the fruit up front, and I can definitely aftertaste hoppiness and a little bitterness, maybe from the orange, but I can definitely taste some hops presence. It's pretty strong. But you know, it's a nice balance. The fruitiness, the sweetness of the fruit kind of takes away a little bit of that bitterness. It's actually very good. Yeah, the bitterness seems to go away after you've had a couple sips. Maybe that's just the initial shock. I like it. So there you go. Left Coast Brewing Company, Orange County IPA. I recommend it. So here we go. We're on 3.5 hours left. I'm just going to let this thing do its magic. I'm going to enjoy the beer. We'll be back in 3-4 hours when we're ready to take these out and get them ready for the grill. See you in a little bit. Alright, here we are. We're just about done. 14 minutes left till it's been 4 hours, so it's pretty much done. Now, like I said earlier, I'm going to take one of these and I'm just going to cool it off, shock chill it, and we're going to put it in the freezer and we'll eat it down the line. Maybe next week, maybe next month. I don't know. So I'm just going to put it in a pan here. I got some ice. I'm just going to shock chill this for a little bit. Try to get the temperature down as fast as possible. And then into the freezer. And then when I'm ready to reheat it, I'm just going to put it back in here for maybe an hour to bring it up to temperature and finish it off just like I'm going to finish this one off. So let's get this one out. Turn that off. With most sous vide food, it's going to look kind of wet and sloppy when it comes out. It's not going to have that crisp crust that we like. we go. Oh, it smells wonderful. So what we want to do is we want to take it out and we just want to dry it off real good with a paper towel. You can finish this off a couple different ways. You can finish it off in an oven under a broiler, 450, 500 degrees for a few minutes. You can throw it in a cast iron skillet under high heat just to brown the outside, or you can do it like I'm going to do it. I'm going to throw it on the grill for 2-3 minutes on each side just to kind of give it a little barbecue flair and crisp up the outside. So let me dry this off and we'll throw this on the grill and we'll be back in just a second. Alright guys, here we are. I got the grill going on pretty high heat. I apologize, it's so dark out here. It's only 7 o'clock at night, but it looks like it's midnight. We're just gonna throw this on here, high heat, get a good sear on it, some good crisp on the outside. That's all it takes, a little bit of flavor. So 2-3 minutes on each side. I'll do maybe a minute on the other sides. I'll hold it with the tongs on the thin side just to get a little crisp on that. And yeah, that's all it is. It's already fully cooked. It's perfectly cooked. We're just gonna make it more fun to eat and more appetizing to look at and crispy, which we all like. So I'll let this do this thing and I'll meet you inside in a minute. Alright, fresh off the grill. I just want to show you before I start slicing into it. I'm going to let it rest just for a second, out of habit I guess, and we'll see how it looks inside in just a second. Alright, let's cut into this and see how it looks like on the inside. Ooh, look at this. Man. See, I cooked it this way because I know this is what my mom would like. She doesn't want to eat anything that looks pink. There's still a slight pink tint to it because it hasn't been cooked to 160 degrees, but at the same token, it's completely done. It's very juicy. Wow. Look at the juice dripping from it. Alright. Whew. Man, looks wonderful. Let me get the family to try this in just a second. Alright, here we are. I got some slices. I got the family, my mom, my wife Monica. Try a piece, guys. I got some slices. Okay. Here. Could definitely taste that smoke. It's like a mild smoke.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. This
on the back, but
wonderful.
It's so juicy. It's
that is the best pork I have ever had.
Me too.
That is amazing. And I'm not just saying that. It is out of this world amazing.
The seasoning is also very good. It's very basic, but it's very delicious.
Oh yeah.
I would highly recommend it.
Matter of fact, I was the skeptic. I was the one that was saying,
try something
that's
else.
Too basic. Why don't you do something different? Something, you had it right. You really did. This is delicious. Wow, look how moist that is.
Well, as usual, guys, I appreciate you watching my video. If you like what you see, please like my video. Please subscribe to my channel. Check out some of my other videos. We'll see you next time. She's not going to have any.
No, no.
Oh, I'll get some too.
All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.